All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here for the bronze final, the playoff for 3rd and 4th place between the Tough Cookies from Auckland and Hammertron Fusion from Hamilton. What an exciting match. My name, as always, is Blair Munro. I'm joined in the booth.
Becky Liddell.
And Sean Gardner.
And what a pleasure and a privilege it is to be here to talk you through the exciting action as we have the second to last game of our stream coverage. The only thing left to play after this is the final between Taranaki Thunder, currently undefeated, having just squeaked out a spot in the top bracket on Universe Point 15-14 against Hammertron. Really quick to turn that one around. Fantastic game. A shame we were not able to bring the coverage of that one as well. And Gangrene, who you just saw put out an impressive performance over the Tough Cookies, who are going to be joining us on stream very, very shortly. In fact, you can see some of them taking the field now to kick off the first point of the game. This is the last match of the season for both of these teams. There's nothing left to play after this. There's no reason to hold anything back. We will see who has more in reserve, who's got the bigger tank, who's going to come through with a victory for us in this bronze medal match.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see which of these teams, as you say, Blair, still have a little bit left in that tank and who can bring that energy to potentially give them a head start and an early advantage in this game. And we'll see if some of these heads dip after the score gets run up or not.
And it's just so good to see teams who have fought hard throughout the entire tournament. Their semi-final matches have not gone the way they wanted. They've got something to prove. There's going to be a little bit of bitterness. We're going to see it in the throws. We're going to see it in the plays. But this is what the season is going to come down to. And so we're going to see Hammertron to initiate on defense. We will see whether or not they're able to come down. They have a textbook, almost characteristic zone that they've loved using all season. Johnson with the pull.
Here we go, folks. Strap yourselves in. It's going to be good.
Fielded by Ivory, working with Willis. Puts a long shot. What a fantastic play by Micah Miller to shut that one down. He's calling himself the Hat. A little bit of a signifier for Hammertron's hexagon offense. As we seek to push back the other way, it's McDonald supported by Johnson. Miller pushing deep. Ivory aggressive on the mark. It's Lambert, marked by Mance. Varley a little bit too close, pushes back, finds Johnson. We're going to see a relatively tight zone defense.
Big shot here.
Match defense, overthrows. Lambert's not able to get it. And so Tough Cookies have an opportunity to swing back the other way. It's a great defensive play by Miller to get up and just spike that out of the sky. Willis trying to find Centillion on the undercut, but it's not going to happen. Has to go to Ivory. Fine putt here on the far sideline. Johnson puts it up looking for Louis, but cannot hit her. Just a little bit too much salsa on that chip. A little bit too much spice. Hammertron have an opportunity here, that rolling, flowing hex offense, prioritizing shorter cuts, a little bit more close and compact ultimate, trying to make sure that everyone gets a disc. Really, really good to see in mixed ultimate, as it does tend to cycle through the players a lot, although we have seen Tough Cookies do a really great job of not only using their ladies, but also recognizing those mismatches on defense. Varley manages to get a cheeky look out. Ivory tries to take a bite, but Johnson secures it. It's Miller. Rips one big, looking for Varley, pursued by Willis, but he's not going to get it. It's Varley to put one on the board. First score of the game, 5 minutes in, Hammertron Fusion up by 1.
Wonderful throw there as well to find Varley there. Just floated it beautifully for him. He's able to run that one down nice and comfortably. Had all sorts of time under it to adjust if he needed to, but he didn't need to at all. Just a wonderful throw. Great ultimate. What can I say?
hard to be mad at a throw like that. And it's important to notice as well, Varley is a name we have heard throughout the tournament. There is a Will Varley playing on AUC Flow, a little Varley on Varley violence. But clearly Matthew Varley has come out on top as it's his team we're seeing in the bronze final. AUC Flow having to settle for something in the 5 through 8 bracket. Maybe we'll see them in the finals. They'll still end on an odd-numbered finish. Lambert with the pull. There's Ellie, McDonald, Johnson, Chow, Spratt, and Varley taking the line for defense against Penfold, Ivory, Centillion, Johnson.
Lovely pull there.
Jang, Louis, and Poon. The gentleman for Tough Cookies initiating the offense. Working in a vertical sack, trying to create channels on the near and far sidelines for them to attack. But we're seeing an aggressive zone defense, a 2-3-2 again. And that's how you beat a zone. You make it run. You go wide. Poon with the disc. Pushing back to Johnson. Chipping through. That is one of the benefits of that zone. That's what it's looking for. It's looking for those short, aggressive passes that need to come in fast and trusting a player to fumble them. Chow gets it, overshoots to Ellie, and it's Varley again.
2 from 2. Say less. Varley said, you know what? My back's big enough. Let me put the team on my back. What a great rip as well. And to toe it in too.
Just fantastic. We're going to get to see that again. That's Chow pushing to Ellie far sideline, hoping for an upline, but it's Varley again.
Shades of Nicholas Whitlock on that catch.
I mean, it's a good thing there's a tournament physio, just in case he does hurt his back from carrying the scoreline at the moment. There's someone there to take care of him.
That extra strength Voltaren on hand for that man.
I think you'll find that it's pronounced Varley Taran.
Well said.
Tough crowd. Hammertron to come out on defense. McDonald with the pole as we have our female matching majority point. So our female matching majority players will be the ones responsible for pulling. McDonald puts one nice and deep. Again, Ivory to pick up. But Miller quick to initiate that defense, establishing that structure with a Atutahi. My mistake, everyone. Ivory trying to work around, finds Priscilla Yu, gets past Mercer. Ivory with a big throw, and Puthier gets it.
Yes!
Huge layout.
That's wonderful.
What a grab, just absolutely fantastic. We're going to get to see it again. That's Ivory. Oh, that's all right. Tough Cookies. It'll be burned into the memories of those players. We are getting another chance as Tough Cookies bring it back to a 1-point game in the bronze final. It's Brad Ivory. He's pointing. He puts it up. There's a little bit of edge. It's fading early.
Full extension layout. That's what we love to see. That's what we've come here for, folks.
Partier jumping between different postcodes to bring that one down. He could have sent himself a letter with how far he traveled. What a fantastic grab. Now the Tough Cookies to come out on defense. We see Ellie again. Weston, the big man himself with a hand up. Kieran Maunsell, one of the offensive cornerstones of any Hammertron line in any division. But it's Jed Hart, the disc doctor himself, in some stylish Tokay cleats, resetting early to Maunsell, putting a great big shot up for the lefty Liam. A little quick on that throw means Ellie can't get to it.
Weston, what a way to get up for it, big man. Saw what Varley did earlier and said, you know what, I can do that too.
And he certainly can. The peril is he can be a little trigger happy as Tough Cookies push back. You've got Jenny Lang on the far sideline, marked by Sun. Finds Tong to Manang. Threads one low, just outside the outstretched hands of Johnson. Possession going back to Hammertron. The big man, Kieran Maunsell, is going to pick it up and initiate. We know he's got the cannon. He has some weird mutant shoulder thing where even the smallest fakes get huge distance on the disc. And so it's a dangerous thing to mark him because you do have to be really respectful of anything he tries to do. Hart manages to get around Xiong. Manang sticking tight. Ellie feeling under pressure. Gets it through to Sophia Hall, who offloads to Kieran Monsell again. Finds Hart in the end zone for the score. Hammertron Fusion 3 over Tough Cookies 1.
We can see the conditions here are allowing for some big bids. I've seen some lovely bids all day.
Yeah, Cookies have been getting horizontal this whole game. You know, as Blair mentioned earlier, you know, there's not much left. You know, there's no games left, so there's everything to play for now. And in a game like this with the medal on the line, you know, it's all about throwing yourself out there and just, you know, emptying the tank.
Now, this is going to be, or has the potential to be, Hammertron Fusion's best performance in a Division 2 tournament since their inception. In 2019, they just got squeaked out. The final score was 10-8 in favour of Taranaki Thunder, sending them home with no medal apart from the Spirit medal, the one that counts. Daniel Thornton with the pull.
Big rip here. Looks like it's just fading out of bounds.
But since then, Hammertron Fusion, they've managed to drop into that 5-8 bracket pretty consistently. So this is going to be tied for their best performance in any Division 2 event. So it's a great opportunity for them to walk away with a medal. They definitely deserve it, but so do Tough Cookies after that hard-fought match against our finalists, Gang Green. It's Ivory once again with Willis. He puts it up, and Anne-Marie McDonald says, "Not today."
Big defensive play there from McDonald.
Atutahi can't get there because Willis takes to the skies. Ivory to Penfold. Thornton, such an aggressive mark defense. Love to see it. It's Johnson.
Way to get a piece of it on the mark there to force the touch and the turnover.
Our Poon could not get it in hands. Lambert will be definitely proud of that one. I wonder whether or not her husband playing for What the Duck is watching at the moment.
We are seeing a defensive masterclass from both of these teams here, folks. This is incredible.
The sword of ultimate cuts with both sides as Willis finds Mance on the near sideline marked by Choi. Goes wide, and it's Johnson! Andy Blimmin Johnson finds Dan Thornton. He's going to take his time with it. Some nice give goes. One of the most beautiful throws in New Zealand Ultimate is Daniel Thornton's in-motion backhand. He's been playing a lot of time doing disc golf, and that putt mechanic has really helped to shape the way he's able to drive an offensive flow. But it's Lambert, back to Chow. Daniel Thornton, he wanted to hit Andy Johnson, but Ivory was going to shut it down. Manages to get it on the crossfield cut in front of the disc. Thornton again. McDonald unmarked until Mance gets into position. It's Chow. He's going to force it. Anne-Marie McDonald with an assist to Mr. Marcus Ridgway. What a beautiful position there as Hammertron Fusion go 4 up over Tough Cookies 1. A fantastic play, and a timeout has been called. I think after so many on the bounce, Hammertron Fusion are feeling that momentum, and Tough Cookies, they've got some adjustments they want to make, and they want to try and stop that momentum. Becky, Sean, if you were in that Tough Cookies huddle, you've seen how Hammertron are flowing with offense. And so what kind of adjustments would you want to be making in order to shut down that Hammertron flow?
Yeah, well, Tough Cookies, you know, it was a tough game in that last one that they played against Gang Green, and I think morale's a little bit low at the moment. They are getting some nice looks, but they are causing, you know, there's a lot of turnovers being created by this Hammertron Fusion team. They really need to knuckle in, find some energy, and keep their heads high because there's still so much to play for in this game. There's still very, very early on. They need to keep the energy high, keep their focus up, and I think we'll see them claw this game back.
Tough Cookies first to break the huddle as well. Hammertron Fusion taking their time, setting up that defensive pressure. We're going to see Matthew Varley again on the line. Would be interesting to hear from Becky Liddell as to whether or not she has any insight as to what Tough Cookies need to adjust to claw themselves back in this game.
I think Tough Cookies could maybe benefit from, just from the turns they were generating just then. Taking that defensive, after their defensive turn, working with their offense a bit, because we see that they have the defense and maybe just generating their offensive play afterwards. Tough Cookies still absolutely have this in the bag, and I wouldn't say this game's over yet.
Absolutely not. A disc is catchable until it touches the ground, and a game is winnable until the final point is put on the board. Tough Cookies, they put on some fantastic defensive pressure in their last game against Gangrene. They've had to come straight into this one. They're still fired up. They might still be defensively focused. The question is, can they also make that other adjustment in terms of making sure that their offense is in position?
They've been putting on a lot of effort in this game as well. We've seen a couple of big layouts from some of their players as well. So there's definitely not a question about the effort. They are still very, very hungry to get this win.
Johnson with the disc as Thornton sets up. He's hungry for it. Such a fantastic player, but he managed to slip one through to Willis. Can it come back inbounds? No, it is overthrown and OB. No luck for Jenny Ling putting a score on the board in that one. It is Hammertron Fusion to take possession, coming back with a long field in front of them.
It's a very, very good option there, looking for that back corner of the end zone. She was open as you would like her to be open. I've butchered that one. She was open as anything. She was on an island by herself, folks.
She was wide open like the doors at a 24-hour supermarket. Tough crowd. Hammertron to pick up and initiate as they just never curve back in. There is a slight yardage gain. We find Varley. Middle field. Thornton shifting to try and move Sean Johnson. Atutahi with the disc now. Supported by McDonald and Thornton.
Loud, loud Cookies sideline right now. You might be able to hear them.
Miller has it on the near sideline, marked by Padye. Back to Thornton. Johnson applying a lot of pressure, trying to trap, forcing towards this sideline. It's McDonald, Thornton again. Varley, 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 oi, oi, oi. Who would have believed it? 3 points already, a hat trick within the first 18 minutes to take Hammertron Fusion 4 points above Tough Cookies. The score now 5 to the Tough Cookies 1.
Varley is the gift that keeps on giving, isn't he? Thornton does a great job quarterbacking that entire play, working down that sideline, and then putting in a beautiful throw to Varley in the end there.
We see that again. That's that smooth give-go, bouncing the disc off Anne-Marie McDonald, putting out a nice leading pass for Varley to pull down. Just a fantastic put. We're going to see defensive line, Sophia Hall, Abby Lawrence, Nikki Lambert, Anne-Marie McDonald, Andrew Johnson, Marcus Ridgway, and Kevin Chow. Against the Tough Cookies, we have Simon Xiong, Aini Louis, Brad Ivory, Adam Manang, Priscilla Yu, Tong, and Gan. It's going to be a fantastic point. The momentum heavily in the Hammertron Fusion camp at the moment. But we've seen what Tough Cookies are able to do. Those cookies do not crumble if they can help it. It's Tong to pick up and initiate, finding you center field. Looked off as Anne-Marie McDonald closes the jaws. Johnson so squirrely manages to shut down Ivory as an option. Xiong can't get it. That's exactly what Hammertron were looking for if they want to put another point on the board and take them closer to halftime. Johnson, this is well within his range. Ridgway probably confident of his chances against Xiong. Manages to squeak around, needs something else to happen. An upside down throw. Ridgway got a hand to it, but he wasn't able to secure it. Possession to go back to Tough Cookies.
That was a spicy scuba, that was.
Well, the conditions are right for it. It's quite foggy, it's a little cool. The air is a little bit damp with fog, I would mist, but there's not a lot of wind, so those upside down throws are definitely an option. Manang pulls it down, a big fake trying to shift Chow. Ivory has the disc. Those left hands going up, finds Tong. Manang is an option. He's going to run it down for the score. That was comfortably in. I think that is a questionable call by Kevin Chow.
Let's see if we can get a replay on this.
So we're going to get to see that again. Tong with a laser throw.
Oh, maybe had one.
Either way, we're playing it back. Find Ivory. Losing yards in the process. Johnson aggressive on the mark. We've seen what he can do on defense. It's Abby Lawrence now marking up against Tong, hoping to close one away. Signaling for Ivory as an option for a reset. Puts the big forehand up, looking for Xiong. And comes down with it over Ridgway despite an impressive attempt for a clean bid. It's not going to be enough. Tough Cookies are still in it. The score now 5-2 in favor of the side from Hamilton.
Great calm offense there from Cookies. All stemming from that big Minang rundown earlier to put them in prime position to easily slot that one home. Here we go, we can see that absolute cannon once again. Minang on an island by himself. Yeah, perhaps just out there, had that right foot straddling the line. And of course, if you have 1 foot out and 1 foot in, it's not in. And finding Zhang there for the score to give Cookies another point and perhaps give them a little bit of momentum. They've stopped the drought. Let's see if they can keep going here.
Jed Hart working with Kieran Monsell, the big man, to quarterback the offense here, pushing to Katie Sun, far sideline. Manages to get the grab. Big fakes. David Jackson as an option. David Jackson, who organised the recent first New Zealand Mixed Master Championship. Monsell putting the shot up. Just underthrows. Karenza Ali on a great crossfield cut.
Great vision to look for that throw.
Uncharacteristic of Kieran Monsell to underthrow anything. Perhaps what he needs more than anything else is a healthy breakfast like that you might find from one of our key sponsors, New World. A little bit of Weet-Bix might have helped him on that one, but it's Manang who comes away, putting one through to Guyon Lang.
It's a great read by Manang, once again in that deep space. He's cooking now, and Cookies are the comeback
Cookies
trend's
are being
on.
baked.
Tough Cookies, the next batch. Guyon Lang to walk away with a point for that one, bringing it back within 2. 5-3. Hammertron Fusion up over Tough Cookies in the bronze final for the 2023 Division 2 New Zealand Mixed Ultimate Championships. We're going to get to see that again. Willis with a big shot. A lot of players in pursuit, but of course, the unstoppable Manang, despite a great bid from Liam Weston, manages to push that one through to Guyon Lang. The Steph Curry turnaround and points. Doesn't even know if it's been caught. He knew.
That is cocky. I love it.
And now Tough Cookies to come out on defense. They've got the whole team on there. They know that it's defense. They know that the Hammertron offense prioritizing that hex structure can be pressured heavily by a well-structured zone, and a zone is driven off the information that players are fed to allow them to make decisions. Mance with a fantastic pull. Huge and high. It's going to touch down just in bounds. This is such a great opportunity as Guy on Lang tries to pressure Monsell on the mark. Hart cutting through for support. Question as to whether or not he may have been in, but it's not called by the players. Scuba over the top to David Jackson.
That's a lovely scuba to get that disc back into the middle of the field.
It really is. Hart slips one through to Monsell, who floats one out to Hart. Threading one through. Liam has to get it on a second attempt. Fantastic, puts it through. That's a little overthrown. Not for Jed Hart. It's not. What a beautiful score as Hammertron Fusion put another one on the board. 6-3, 2 points away from half in this game to 15. It is an interesting thing we've seen, and during the sort of establishment of our season, we had a Savage Thor tournament. We had a tournament where the entire structure was based around only 7 players on the field, and they played the entire game. Seeing Liam Weston at that tournament, he had a couple of questionable options. He's very quick to put these throws up, but they always come out low and with a little bit of air bounce, and as the conditions change, the quality of those throws can change. We saw an overthrow down the far end earlier on in the match. I hate to say it, it was a little bit expected. It's going to be great to see how he gets control over those as he matures, and seeing that again, that in motion, that real aggressive, it came in low and swooped up like the Nike swoosh. And I was a little worried it was going to fade out of bounds, but Jed Hart underneath it managed to secure that point for Hammertron Fusion. Well done to them.
Yeah, there was a lot of time under that disc to get a good read on it and come down with it comfortably in the end zone. It was a very good option. It turned out to be a very good throw. Yeah, as you say, Blair, a little bit of air bounce under that one. Could have been a bit dodgy had the conditions been a bit more questionable, but thankfully Wellington today giving us some good weather and not much wind at all.
Wendy Spratt with the pull for Fusion. Willis to Johnson, marked by Mercer. Atutsahi closing the jaws around, so Poon can't get an option. It has to go back to Willis, over the top and around to Johnson. But Thornton's there, Atutahi's there as well. An upside down shot over the top to Michelle Poon as the zone shifts to close off those windows. Comes wide, finds Sean Johnson again. We're seeing a lot of passes from the Tough Cookie side. Things are being stymied and frustrated by the Hammertron zone defense. They're being pushed backwards. Becky Liddell is nodding in agreement. Jenny Ling with the disc, pushing towards the far sideline, finds Michelle Poon, chips one through to Jenny Ling again. A low shot, it's over the top, but of course Willis is going to get it. He's well in bounds. He's a little confused by the rugby field lines, but the lines in black are the ones we're most concerned about here today. Jenny Ling pushing to far sideline, finds Sam Penfold. Dan Thornton with a great attempt at it, but he's not going to get a touch. Slight underthrow, maybe underestimating Sam Penfold's speed as he makes that cross-disc cut. Wasn't able to get it in hands. We see it here. He was sort of turning and moving backwards. Little unfortunate. Wendy Spratt to Mercer. Varley again to Karenza Ali for the score. Hammertron Fusion within one. Varley's stat line looking very impressive. That's 3 scores and 1 assist from 7 total points for Hammertron.
Have a day, lad.
I was going to say, I mean, you're allowed to let other people score, Matt. Come on, bud. It's called a team sport. There's no I in team. But there is a me if your name is Matthew Varley. We're going to get to see that again. Mercer, nice line drive. Varley's got it. Easy separation. Gets an overbid from Poon as Ellie sneaks around the blind side for a great score. 1 point away from half. Our score is now 7-3. Our score is now 7-3. Hammertron Fusion to come out on defense, hoping to generate a turn. Hoping to generate a turn and close out the first half of the game. walking away with it at the moment, but Tough Cookies are not to be counted out. Lambert puts the pull high. It's going to be fading a little bit. Can a touchdown inbounds? Just. What a perfect opportunity for a sideline trap, but Ivory, such a confident handler and left-handed. He's going to sneak around, but Johnson gets a hand block. What a bite. Andy Johnson. Cut it out, son. My godfather, we see it. He saw it coming. There it is, the touch. That's exactly what Hammertron were hoping for.
He has been feasting on the mark. I believe that's another hand block for him to add to his stat line.
Ridgway has it. Kevin Chow trying to cut open. Goes wide. Nicky Lambert manages to snatch that one out of nowhere.
Great pickup there.
Comes back to Ridgway. Wanted to push towards that far sideline. Finds Kevin Chow. As a well-communicated and adjusted travel call is resolved. Sophia Hall with the disc, but a pick has been called. So, Sean, what exactly is a pick?
A pick, Blair, is when a defender gets impeded, their movement gets impeded by another player on the field. It's essentially almost, if you are aware of screens in basketball, is very similar to that, meaning that you cannot follow the player that you're marking. So in that case, you would call a pick, which will allow you to catch up to the disc and make up any ground that you lost.
Lambert to Johnson. Lambert cutting deep with his cover there. Sophia Hall wide open in the mid-space before you closes the trap. Johnson over Ivory. Threads one through for Lambert. Can she close it out? No. Puthier with the block. What a fantastic performance. Great awareness from the defense there to shut that one down.
Maybe a little bit too excited with that throw into the end zone. Maybe some white line fever, just trying to force it in there. Unfortunately, just couldn't fit it in there. Great run through D there from Cookies to give them another life here on this point.
Absolutely. Johnson trying to pressure Ivory, nearly going for the other hand block again. Putty marked by Chow, puts a line drive up to Jang.
Great grab.
Great grab, pinned down on that sideline by Anne-Marie McDonald. Goes wide, finds Ivory. There's an option there for Willis. The defense slightly out of position. They can chip through it. Putty again. Laser beam through, but Atutahi with the block. What a fantastic play there by Nick Atutahi to shut that one down, giving the disc back to Hammertron. 1 point away from taking half if they can close it out here. Sophia Hall initiating that cut. Johnson with the disc marked by Ivory, far sideline. Finds Ridgway in the middle of the field. Around to Lambert. Goes around, back finding Ridgway.
Ridgway's been creating some great separation in that handler space. He's making some really good cuts at the moment to find himself free and available for all sorts of swings.
Apart from this one, it looks like. It was a little bit close, possibly some contact and a little bit of conversation happening at the moment. Looks like a foul may have been called, but the question is and it's accepted. So it looks like players will just return to where they were. Play will continue. Sophia Hall with the disc on the far sideline. Marked by Priscilla Yu. Nice and aggressive. Such a great player. Dropped an absolutely amazing hammer in our previous game. I'm still stunned. She just uncorked it for the score. Sophia Hall pushing deep. Priscilla Yu left behind. It looks like it was going to be a pick, but because the throw didn't come up, no, pick has been called in the end. But it looks like it'll be related to another play.
Big hammer fake there.
Looks off Atutahi in favor of Johnson, who loses yards, being so aggressive in that pursuit. Chow's going to be underneath it, and he's got it, but there's no one there for him. He's waiting for players to get in advance, to give him an option, pushing downfield.
That's great defense from you as well to stay tight to a player.
Ridgway to Hall. Back to Ridgway. He wants the hammer as well. Johnson calls a timeout, a veteran call.
This point has been going on for quite some time. You can see Johnson hitting the deck there. He's been putting it all out in this point. He looks absolutely shot. He looks knackered there, Blair.
Just gassed. just gassed. Honestly, I'm having to spare my breath to keep Andy Johnson alive. And so I'm running out of words as well. So that timeout is going to be a fantastic opportunity, not just for our players to catch their breath and resettle, but also set up a structure. One of the things with regards to Hex is they prioritize that structure and that shape, but with all of the milling cuts, the swirling, the moving around, sometimes it takes an opportunity to just settle everything down. They're very close. We're looking at about 25, 26 meters from the end zone, maybe a little bit further out. This is the kind of pass that we've seen other teams finish off in one shot, but it really depends on what Hammertron are trying to prioritize. Are they trying to stay calm? Are they trying to just use multiple passes to do it? I think Kevin Chow probably could have called a timeout, being so far ahead of the rest of the play. They were able to cycle through anyway and get Johnson the desk to make a great call and give them an opportunity to really set something up to close out this first half, 35 minutes into our bronze final. Natural athlete Andy Johnson going to pick up the disc. As always, after a timeout, the offense set their structure first. We see them in that textbook hexagonal structure. 2 players behind the disc, 3 in line with the disc across the field, and 2 in that deep space. Marcus Ridgway in the center of that, hexagon. Most likely, he's going to be stretching everything deep, marked by Willis as a classic initiation play. We will see whether or not Tough Cookies recognize that and try to respond to it. Willis definitely marking the player. And that's going to be it. Slight overthrow.
And the point continues.
A necessary timeout, but it seems they may have wasted it by giving the disc back to Tough Cookies. Goes up and over the top, finds Mance. Lambert on defense. Mance puts the shot up. Chang with a great attempt. McDonald tried to get up over it. We get to see that again. That disc faded a little early. It came in low.
Putting her body on the line, and Cookies are leaving it all out there at the moment.
Johnston to pick up and initiate. Atutahi with the disc. Marked by Garn, but it goes to Chow. Ridgway, and nice upline to Johnson. He wants to put it. Ivory gets a foot up. McDonald.
Oh, great bid there.
Gets the little dishy pass on the upline. Ivory so active on the mark, but Ridgway's got it now. Marie McDonald pushing deep, but she's blocked out by Jang. Chow manages to keep it in hand somehow. Puts a shot up for Ridgway and the score and the half. My goodness, what a thrilling conclusion to the first half of our bronze final as Marcus Ridgway puts it away for Hammertron Fusion. We will be back with you very shortly for the thrilling conclusion to our bronze final match in the 2023 Division 2 New Zealand Mixed Ultimate Championships between Hammertron Fusion from Hamilton and the Tough Cookies from Auckland. Until then, my name is Blair Monroe.
My name is Becky Liddell.
And I'm Sean Gardner.
And we will be back with you very soon. And we are back for the opening pull of the second half of the 2023 Division 2 New Zealand Mixed Ultimate Championships. Tough Cookies coming out on defense as Kieran Maunsell and Jed Hart initiate the offense, working with Katie Son for Hammertron Fusion, threading through to Maunsell, to Weston. Maunsell again, some give and goes. They're too quick. They've got to shut it down. Looks like a call may have been made about a travel.
It's a lovely series of 1-2s there on that one. They were moving it. They were hauling down that sideline there.
Absolutely. Now, it is interesting. Oh, it looks like that travel may have been retracted. So, and Maunsell has the disc. Laser beam through to David Jackson. Katie Son to Jed Hart. Abby Lawrence with the score to bring it to 9-3. Now, it is interesting to note. Well, I was going to say it's interesting to note. I had a point, and then I realized I haven't introduced myself for this half, but I don't think it's interesting to note that I am Blair Munro, and I'm joined in the booth by Becky Liddell and Sean Gardner. It's interesting to note that a relatively recent change to the rules, I'd say recent within the context of geological timescale, recent within the past few years or so, the rule around what constitutes a travel or a moving violation in Ultimate has changed. Reflection of the rules, I think 18.2.6.2. Someone could fact check me on that, but there's nothing a commentator likes more than to seem like an expert, so I'll at least try and quote the reference. Essentially, what constitutes a travel has kind of changed, and essentially, players are allowed to take up to 2 additional contact points at speed once they've got control of the disc before they must release it. So those give-goes look like players may have just been running and throwing the disc. But as this is characteristic of the Hammertron style of play, they're very careful to drill exactly what that feels like for them to prevent those travels from being called. And if there's anyone who's going to know the rules well enough to argue them, it's going to be Kieran Maunsell. But Tough Cookies, it's Willis to Ivory to Jenny Ling. Looking back to Ivory, manages to find Johnson. Willis, far sideline marked by Varley. It's Ivory marked by Ridgway. The left hand, he chips one through and a huge layout bid from Micah Miller. What a fantastic play. Nice and clean. We get to see that again. The left through. Not today.
Oh, that is lovely. That's lovely. Another full extension layout in this game.
Micah Miller, the offense killer. It's Dan Thornton to Matt Varley. Finds Wendy Spratt as an option. Just touches down. Oh, a great attempt by Santillan to keep that one in hands, but it's not going to be enough. Possession going back to Hammertron Fusion. It's Dan Thornton with Anne-Marie McDonald. Ridgway pushing deep. Atutsahi with the disc. Big fakes, but she's having to look back. It's Dan Thornton coming back, almost swapping places with Atutahi. Willis has it. A great grab there. Penfold pushing deep. He's going to be an option. It looks like Thornton may have got a touch on that one. Sending it fading just a little towards that far sideline. Aini Louis is not going to be able to pull that one in, despite a fantastic performance she had on display in the previous game against Gangrene. But it looks like an injury is going to be called. So we're going to see Priscilla Yu come on for Rain Santillan. Escorted off the field by Menang. What a bid by Micah Miller.
That is lovely. The full extension always looks pretty. Even better when you get the D as well.
Oh, absolutely. Otherwise, it's just gratuitous.
Oh, absolutely.
Thornton to pick up, bringing the desk to the front of the end zone and initiate. A little bit of miscommunication there. I think he was looking for Anne-Marie McDonald. He's going to find Ridgway with a second attempt. Definite contact on that one as Penfold comes through to try and secure the block. An accepted foul. Great spirit on display by both of those teams. Just a reminder that it's a self-officiated sport, so players take it upon themselves to learn the rules and make calls throughout the game. We do not have external referees or officials.
That was great intensity on defense there by Penfold to really pressure that, and even got the bubble from Ridgway there. And here we see a D from Ivory.
Ivory
Coming
over
through.
Miller. They're trading blocks at this point. Great run through. He's going to pick up the disc. Far sideline. Big fake. 3, 4 options before he manages to find Johnson pushing towards that near sideline. Manages to engage Ivory, who winds up that forehand. Finds Jenny Ling. Marked by Spratt. Threads through to Louis. Ridgway trying to find his assignment as Anne-Marie McDonald closes. Ivory puts the spin cycle on, but Miller.
An incredible grab from Ivory.
What? And then the turn on the throw. Hammertron Fusion with an opportunity to bring it back to 10-3. A huge potential for them here.
Yeah, unfortunately just couldn't link up with Johnson in the end zone there, but what an incredible spin move. And here we see Varley put up a big shot looking for Thornton in the deep space. And Johnson's pressuring it. And it looks like we might get a call here.
But again, it comes down to the players to make that determination. I think the throw was really, really high. Thornton trying to track it. And then as he jumped up, the question as to whether or not Johnson jumped up underneath him, knocking his arm, I think is the query.
All right, Becky, time for a hot take. What do you reckon?
I reckon it was a very highly contested jump. I don't have a great perspective, but that is okay. The
So
players can come to their decision themselves.
that is very, very diplomatic, Becky. We look forward to your inevitable
I
political
believe in
career.
democracy. What can I say?
Looks like that foul has been accepted, so it looks like Thornton is going to retain possession of the disc. No, sorry, looks like I think the foul may have actually been called the other way. Johnson arguing that Thornton fouled him, so it looks like we're going to trade possession. It's going to be Tough Cookies working back the other way. It's important to remember that in Ultimate, a player is entitled to the space above their own head as well.
Willis whipping that one into the middle for Johnson there.
Thornton on the mark. Penfold's got it. Waiting for someone to get free for him. There's the fake. Varley on the back foot. Willis puts a laser shot up, looking for Ling, but it's not going to come down. Looks like that may have landed out of bounds as well, which means Hammertron Fusion aren't going to have to take that from the front of their end zone. They'll be able to take it from the first point where it crossed the far sideline.
It was a great option as well. Had 2 open players down there in the end zone, but unfortunately just uncorked a little bit too big of a throw.
We've seen a couple of those from the Cookies, but their defense has been equally as hard, so.
I love the defensive pressure that the Cookies are putting on. I think it's just on that offensive side, they're struggling to vibe and to keep it tight. Some really long options. I think it might be a case of we need to start chipping away at this deficit, and we can do it in one pass. You can only do it in one pass.
Big shot going up there, but it looks like a little bit of a miscommunication as Ridgway looked to cut under there. Unfortunately, by that point, the shot had already gone up, looking for that big gainer.
Absolutely. You could see that as soon as the disc was released, that was when Ridgway made his decision to chop step to break off that acceleration and come back underneath. Ivory with that half pivot backhand again. Thornton with a great attempt, but it's Priscilla Yu putting a big shot up, looking for Louis, who gets it not inside the end zone. There it is, a big throw for Jenny Ling and the score.
That is a big play for Cookies. That is really, really huge. Not only for this game, also for their mental as well. Of course, Ultimate, not only physically challenging game, but also a mentally challenging game. Here you can see you with the disc looking big I think there might have been a piece of it on defense there. Lloyd comes down with it. And a lovely crossfield shot.
Finds the wide open. Ling managing to give Tutahi the slip. And really, and again, we've said it a bunch of times throughout the course of this tournament, just let the ladies do what the ladies want to do.
Let them cook.
Whoa, hang on. Burger King got in a lot of trouble for that one, Sean.
I've slipped. I've been cancelled.
Cancel him.
Oh no. See you guys later.
But again, just those ladies, they've got the talent, the athleticism, the vision, the foresight. It's important to remember it's mixed ultimate. Get everyone involved. You'd be surprised at what you can achieve as a team when you have trust in your teammates. David Jackson managing to find Kieran Monsell midfield. Puts one up. It's Liam Weston in pursuit. He goes for the layout. Looks like it may have been a second late. If he'd been a little bit earlier, maybe he would have had hands to it. Either way, a great chase. It looked like there was no way he was going to get near it. And he manages to get a hand to it.
Got hands to that disc.
Sheer speed.
He had to put the burners on for that one. He really put the foot on the gas to get to that disc. You could see him just crank it up another gear to chase that one down. And he really did deserve a little bit better on that one. Unfortunately, just can't quite corral that one in for the score.
And it's Dylan Lai to pick up an initiate as Xiong pushes deep. It comes out a little high, and Menang is not able to secure it. Nice, low and athletic, but it's Kieran Monsell. He can throw just about anything, including a safe backhand to David Jackson for the score, giving Fusion double digits. And a great position here to close out this bronze final. 54 minutes into the game, still anyone's game. 6-point deficit. It's big, but it's not insurmountable.
Jackson with some lovely ankle-breaking cuts on that that isolation play there. Unfortunately, Menang just leaving the disc behind there. Got hands to it.
Oh, the shimmy.
The shimmy
the
there.
Shimmy.
To leave his defender behind him. Lovely bit of work there.
David Jackson playing peekaboo with Dylan Lai.
It's a lovely bit of work towards the end zone there. As you've said, Blair, it's still anyone's game. There's still plenty of time left in this game, but Hammertron Fusion comfortably, you have to argue, they've got one hand on that bronze medal at the moment.
You do love to see an isolation cut so good that it gives your opposition object impermanence. But we're going to see Hammertron Fusion coming out on defense. Anne-Marie McDonald with the pull. Thornton providing some last-minute quarterbacking. The pull is nice and low. It's going to touch down relatively early, but it's going to give Hammertron an opportunity to set up their zone defense. Varley and Thornton up front. Oh, looks like it's going to be a match defense instead. A Tutahi marking Jang. Brad Ivory's going to get it. Gets an overbid. Poon comes down with it over McDonald. Goes to Johnson. What an inside throw. Louis to Ivory. Mance was calling for it. And Mance is going to come down with it. That's what Tough Cookies needed. Nothing better than perfect offense there. No turns, only a handful of passes strung back together. If I wasn't too busy clapping, I could count them on the fingers of both hands. Fantastic work by Tough Cookies to put one on the board, bringing it back within 5. That's exactly what they need.
I'm surprised to see Fusion there actually coming down on that match defense. They've been generating a lot of turns coming out of that zone. I'm always of the mind that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So to see them mix it up,
brilliant.
Is an interesting call.
Entertainment.
We'll see if they continue to come down that match defense after what we just saw there. Cookies looked very comfortable against that match defense.
I love to see the way Cookies really worked the disc up to bring a really comfortable and clean score for themselves.
A great pull by Lai, but it's fading high towards the near sideline. Going to touch down. We're seeing the brick signal given by Kieran Monsell, who's going to pick the disc up and initiate play from point 18 meters in front of the defensive end zone in the middle of the field. So there is no positional advantage given to the Tough Cookies by throwing the disc out of bounds. Hammertron setting their hex up quite deep by the looks of things. Katie's son making a great initiation. Stretching deep. It's Liam Weston on an undercut.
Created all sorts of separation on that undercut. Left his defender in the dust.
Hart with a great around break on that backhand. Straight through to Weston again. Pops one over the top, and Tough Cookies get a touch on it.
Great defense from Lang there. Way to get a piece on that one.
That is what Tough Cookies need. It's Manang against Jackson to start things off. Spin cycle Tong was an option. She had the separation. He decides not to look for it. Little offhand backhand action through to Lai. To Manang again. Sophia Hall pressuring Tong, making her unavailable. It's the guys working it at the moment. Dylan Lai marked by Jed Hart. Hart got a piece of that one. I've never seen Dylan Lai throw a wobbly forehand without interference. Monsell, he's gonna put it. Of course he is. He's looking for Carenza Ali, who's backing up, and she's got it. Hammertron Fusion 11 to Tough Cookies 5 in this race to 15 for the bronze medal.
Hammertron Fusion just making it look very, very easy at the moment. Another big shot by Monsell there. As you say, Blair, he's got that knack about him just to be able to rip long distance throws without... He makes it look very easy.
Absolutely.
He does not skip arm day at all.
Oh, he does. There was a curious incident a year ago at an indoor hat tournament where he tried to lift up one of his teammates as a joke and essentially put one of his wrists out of action for about 6 months, during which time a lot of his gym focus was on cardio and legs. That's why he's the big man, because it generates all that power from the lower body and just snaps it through the shoulder. But again, such little wind-up, such little telegraphing that make his throws so dangerous. And Hammertron Fusion might be making it look easy, but the cookies are going tough as Ivory feeds Poon. Miller nearly getting it. Partier with the disc now. Goes around. Johnson finds Poon. Louis has it now. Back to Partier. Ivory was an option. Chow looks to shut that one down. Johnson nearly gets it, but it's Penfold. Atutahi with the disc. Pushes wide to Johnson. Quick chip up line and back. He's trying to call for Ivory to take yards. Ivory doesn't respond, and so they lose yards, but manage to push back through to Partier anyway. It's Ivory with it. Lots of big fakes getting some responses out of Atutahi. Johnson to Penfold for the score. That's what Tough Cookies want. Back within 5. It is 11-6. The Cookies have not crumbled just yet.
There's once again great patience by Ivory in that end zone. Not forcing anything that he wasn't uncomfortable throwing. He's happy to sit with the disc. Works his mark beautifully there, finding Padgett. And a simple continuation Penfold in the end zone for the score.
Beautiful. And so, Hammertron offensive line. Weston, Hall, Lawrence, Hart, Monsell, Ellie, and Son for a female matching majority point. Facing down against Yu, Mance, Manang, Xiong, Gan, Ling, and Ling. 2 Lings, 2 sisters, Jenny and Julia on the line. We're going to see whether or not that twin telepathy has any impact on their connections on the field. Yu with a monster pull. That is someone who does not skip arm day. After seeing that hammer in the previous game and that pull just now, oh, she's tiny, but she's mighty. Great pressure by Mance. Weston on a great undercut, but the disc had a little bit too much heat on it. It was going to snap out of its hands. Yu going to initiate, supported by Manang in the upfield space, marked by Lawrence and Monsell. Sitting out in a vertical stack. They push wide. It goes up over the top. Garn Tries to react to recover it, but it's not going to happen. Slight overthrow from Cookies, giving the disc back to Hammertron.
It's a great option taken by you there. Unfortunately, just couldn't link up with the downfielder.
Western pushing deep. It goes to Lawrence instead, looking downfield, marked by you. Finds Hart, snaps through, finds Monsell. He's calling for players to come back under. Western gets it this time, finds Hall, far sideline. You can hear from the sideline, they see Monsell as a threat. Don't let him get the disc, Simon, and Simon does not, but it looks like there was contact on that play. We'll see that again. Monsell, hard to see from our perspective. It comes down to what the players determine in the end.
Menang launched himself with that disc. That was very, very close, and a great bit of defensive pressure there.
Huge pressure by Menang. We see some nodding and some signals. Looks like the foul call is going to be accepted. So Monsell's going to retain possession of the disc on the far sideline. The disc is in now. Hart trying to shake him free. The up line there, eaten up by Mance. He wanted to rip it. Finds Simon Xiong. Marked by Weston. Son pressuring Ling. Looks back, finds Menang. Finds Mance again to Jenny Ling. Great big, oh, what a play! But Priscilla Yu is there to clean things up, just like one of our favorite sponsors, Low Cost Bins. Keeping Awakairangi Park beautiful for us to play ultimate here as Menang puts up a crisp shot to Julia Ling for the score. Tough Cookies 7, Hammertron Fusion 11.
The Cookies sideline just erupted in front of us. They got very excited over that point.
And if you want some tough cookies of your own, head on over to New World, one of our proud sponsors who brought us with the sufficient goods. They gave us a huge box of bananas and a lot of other support in order to keep our athletes well fed over the course of the weekend. If you want to be well fed, head on down to your local supermarket and say hi. And also presumably buy stuff.
I mean, you can still go say hi to the shopkeepers if you want, I suppose.
Yeah, it really is. But, you know, now that everything's self-checkout and stealing just becomes so appealing, shoplifting is a victimless crime here, folks. Down with corporations. The only stealing that we endorse here at ULTI.TV, apart from corporate theft, is going to be the stealing of the disc from aggressive defensive pressure cutting through an offensive line. And so Tough Cookies, Tong with the disc for a great pull, sending it low and long.
Gorgeous pull.
Fielded by Monsell early. Hammertron are in a position. They've given up a couple of points against the Cookies. Are we going to see those offensive powerhouses just try and snap one in? Lawrence faking off Weston, who's shut down almost completely by Lang. Great bid by Menang, but it's not going to be enough. Monsell's got it, looking for Carenza Ali. Can she pull it down? Yes, she can. What a fantastic score. Just like we drew it up here in the commentary booth, wanting to get that momentum back on the side of Hammertron Fusion. Those same really strong offensive players, Carenza Ali getting just enough separation to make her a very appealing target. Safe hands from Monsell, snatching that one in, using that moment of Menang getting back to his feet to put a great outside in forehand up. Just put in. What a fantastic score.
Monsell must have some coins in his pocket because he is handing out dimes at the moment. He is putting these throws on the money. And you can see another beautiful throw from him.
A little less big man, a little more Daddy Warbucks as he's dropping coins like an injured Mario. Daniel Thornton with the pull to come out for the Hammertron defensive side. Our score now 12-7. That 12-7 taking Hammertron only 3 points away from their first bronze medal in Fusion history. Thornton with a great pull.
That is an incredible rip. That's going towards the back of the end zone, that is, and in bounds as well.
Ivory to Johnson, trying to force it up, finds Penfold far sideline. Jang wide open in the deep space, but maybe it's a little bit too long for where Penfold feels comfortable. Johnson, Bradley coming all the way back to try and give him some support. There's nothing developing. Johnson under pressure, chips a low one through to Ivory. Ridgway stops the around for the upline. But it's an option for Penfold. Varley hoping to shut him down, giving him a really aggressive force. Poon can't secure it. This is what Hammertron Fusion need.
Just in and out of the hands of Poon there. Gives Fusion another golden opportunity here to continue to build on scoreboard pressure and get one step closer to that bronze medal.
Finds Miller, back to Thornton. Gorgeous little floaty forehand all the way through to McDonald.
Even a little bit of a body there as well.
Just body checks Pardier. Get out of my space, she says. Back to Thornton. We're seeing some really aggressive, tight defense. It's Lambert. Back to Thornton. Thornton, every second touch, losing yards as nothing's developing in the downfield space. He goes back, finds McDonald. She's not going to be able to get it to him unless she looks back, but it happens. To Varley. To Miller. To Varley again. To Miller. They're working it. Lasers one through. Looks like that's going to be another score for Varley, bringing his point total to 4 and his assist total to 1. Although it looks like it was originally called in, but there's going to be a little bit of a question about that. We might get a chance to see that again.
Let's have a look. Let's see if Varley can add another one to his stat sheet. Lovely IO shot there as well.
I don't think that would have been in based on our replay, but it looks like they have called it in. So that is going to be 13-7 to Hammertron Fusion. Very spirited display by Tough Cookies to allow that one in.
Yeah, very, very. Close calls like that seem to be very common all the time here. And such a fast-paced sport like Ultimate. And yeah, it's a great display of spirit and a good discussion as well. It was nice and quick to get that one resolved. Here we see a lovely IO shot there. Varley might have just been in the air. That back foot off the ground.
Yeah, I think generally speaking, it's always good to give the benefit of the doubt. But by the same token, in a straddle, you still retain possession of the disc. And I think in general, it's probably safer to say, you know what, just in case, we'll go back to that straddle. I'll step out of the end zone and secure that point. Always a benefit to do that, but wasn't necessary in that case as we see Hammertron come out on defense one more time. 2 points away from taking away a victory. We are in minute 70 at the moment. Johnson, Ridgway, Thornton, Chow, McDonald, Atutahi, and Ali on defense. Willis, Pardier, Louis, Centillion, Ivory streaking deep, nice and aggressive, gets the disc. Mance on disc, marked by Thornton. Tries to shimmy, tries to get those fakes there. Manages to sell Johnson, losing yards in the process but retaining possession. Nice shot over the top, Mance wide open, he's got it for Mance! She's not able to pull that one down. What a great open cut. Had plenty of separation from Anne-Marie McDonald. Just a hair of a breadth too late. Oh my goodness, if she'd taken that jump maybe a fraction of a second earlier or something, could have gone differently. But that's what Hammertron need. That was definitely an unforced error.
Heartbreaking for Cookies there. So close once again.
Okay, Hammertron with a long field ahead of them to work. It's going to be Thornton working with Ridgway. Mance doing a fantastic job of trying to shut down the momentum of that give-go. Forces them to go back the other way. It's Chow with Ridgway. Johnson was there as an option, but Chow's pushing deep. Can he do it? Yes, he can, but he's not in. We've seen this play out before. Is he going to pass it to Johnson for another timeout? Chow has it off a Tutahi, and Bradley shuts it down. Bradley Ivory, a defensive powerhouse for the Tough Cookies side. A little bit more patience might have been necessary on that one.
It's a great read by Ivory there to get in that lane and get that D.
We've got Mance with the desk marked by McDonald. Patiently waiting. Puts that shot up to Mance. To Willis, marked by Ridgway. To Mance again, far sideline. Can they push him out towards the far sideline? The hands going up in frustration. Nothing developing downfield. Puts through a low backhand to Willis, who goes long. Ooh.
Lots and lots of contact there, and it was heavy as well. We've got players down here. Looks
Just
rough.
a reminder for those watching at home, Ultimate is a non-contact sport.
Oh.
I suspect, and we'll see how this resolves, that foul's called. Totally reasonable to call that foul and reasonable to discuss it. Whether or not Partier was tapped through the ankles, which caused that trip. Great athleticism from Chow, but he does have a habit of playing very aggressively and with a lot of contact. I know Hammertron Fusion throughout the season, they've picked up a decent amount of criticism for the level of physicality that's on display by a few of their players, and we've just seen how that's coming to it in this tense bronze final match.
Discussion's still going on here as to the getting this call resolved. Nothing like a tactical breather here as well for those on the field. Give them some time to recover, get some air in their lungs.
I've seen that happen in the past. They're like, look, we both know it's a foul. We both know you're going to accept it, but let's just pretend we're talking about it to give ourselves a chance to catch our breath.
Just delay the inevitable a little bit.
Can't fault that.
It's all a tactical game here, folks.
Exactly.
Well, when you're this close to the taste of medal, which, I mean, to clarify, getting a medal as opposed to necessarily some blood disorder, it's important to keep a cool head and to keep all of those tactical things in mind. And so we're getting input from our Spirit captains, Anne-Marie McDonald and Sam Penfold, respectively. Either way, regardless of the intention, I don't think that was a clean play. In fact, considering how both of those players landed, looked a little bit on the dangerous side, and I think it's really important for both these teams to have that as a takeaway as they sort of move not only throughout next season, but as in their sort of post-season wrap-up, that those kind of things aren't necessary or aren't acceptable in a non-contact sport like Ultimate.
It looked like on the replay, as you said, Blair, looked like a little bit of a trip there. Chow potentially tripping up the offensive player there.
And while I'm sure that the trip would have been unintentional, the fact that it occurred at all is a little bit less than ideal. But it looks to have been a contested call, and so the disc has gone back to Willis, marked by Ridgway. So it's as though the play never happened. And Willis with the desk manages to find Partier to Louis, far sideline as Ellie closes the trap up the line to Ivory, marked by Johnson, winding up that left forehand. Can't go around, he's slow to engage. So he has to go to Louis, and Ellie was able to put on just enough pressure to generate that turn. Hammertron with an opportunity to come back the other way.
I've been really impressed by Louis in this game. She's been getting free a lot in this Hammertron zone and against this match defense as well. She's been creating some incredible cuts to create separation. Unfortunately, I'm just going right through her hands as we see a pit getting called.
So it's unsure who initiated the pick, whose pursuit of their offensive counterpart was impeded by the position of another player. And there's a question as to whether or not it happened before or after the throw is going to dictate the position of Ridgeway and Willis. Okay, so the throw goes up. Ridgeway manages to grab it, but Santillan is calling a foul.
Looks like Ridgeway may have caused that contact there to try to make a play on that disc.
I think
we're going to see another discussion going on here to drag out this point even further.
I think the implication being that had Ridgeway been more mindful of contact, Santillan's positioning would have been enough to secure the defensive play there. Ridgeway's momentum definitely carried him into Santillan, and so I think that's a reasonable call to make, and that foul has been accepted. So it looks like the turnover should stand. Hopefully we'll see the players signaling that as well. A little bit confusing as to what happened there, why Hammertron retained possession on an accepted foul. But it looks like they're going to be working it anyway, managing to chip up the field. Johnson looking for Thornton far sideline. Very, very confused as to how that unfolded. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a moment. Johnson to McDonald. Thornton to McDonald again. Ridgeway had the separation, but Santillan was putting the pressure on. Threads one through. It's Ivory again, to the surprise of absolutely nobody.
He has been everywhere on defense. Been an absolute workhorse.
Now, just to clarify what we think happened there from the commentary booth. So, Ridgeway may, I guess, fouling, unless he called the foul.
I don't believe so. I'm pretty sure we saw Santillan calling that foul.
And that's, we see Mance with the score to bring Tough Cookies back within 5.
Disc don't lie.
The disc
don't lie.
The disc knows. Very, very confusing as to what happened there. So from our perspective here in the booth, it looks like Ridgeway made contact trying to get the disc, which meant that Santillan's defensive play should have stood. Had that been the case, that would have been a turnover. And even though that foul was accepted, Hammertron retaining possession. It's a little bit confusing, but as you say, Sean, the disc does not lie. Brad Ivory was able to get that defensive turn in the end, working all the way up the field for a great score here by Mance.
It's another great long shot there as well. Cookies have been finding open plays in that deep space pretty consistently in this game.
And so we have Monsell again finding McDonald. An aggressive upline cut, but Manang's there to shut it down. Lang shuts down hard. It goes back to Lawrence, marked by Tong. Threads one through to David Jackson, but he can't secure it in the later stages of this game. No call made. Great spirit on display there by David Jackson. We're going to see Tough Cookies with an opportunity here to bring it back within 4.
You on the disc here, looking middle, finding Tong.
Back to you, far sideline, marked by McDonald. Slight misthrow. You could see the way it came out of Yu's hand. I don't think that was exactly what she was hoping for. It looks like a giant taco might have accounted for it. The question is, would that have an impact on the throw? And are Hammertron Fusion willing to concede that and let it Priscilla, you take the disc again. It looks like that is the case. Oh, possibly not. Looks like the turnover will stand. Or possibly even lie down as Tong checks the disc in.
Looks like Morsel's coming back over to collect this disc. Let's see if he puts up another long shot. He's still got some coins in his pocket, I hear. We'll
But
see if he
you can
throws some
see
more dimes.
he puts
Here we
one
go.
up.
Here
Looking
we go.
for Lawrence. Oh, it's fading too far to the outside. Grabbed by Quixley, who put on a great show in our showcase game yesterday at lunchtime for the Volunteer Vortex. You could see as well just how much they fear the long shots of Kieran Monsell. Manang putting a very flat force on there, giving him channels to the side, letting him take the width of the field, but not wanting to use the depth.
Oh, looks like they're just repositioning the disc to where it faded out. And we're underway on this point once again.
Manang
Lovely
has
Irish
it.
shot. Manang looking long. Travel.
Yep, very quick travel call. You can see as he stutter step the
It
foot
doesn't matter, he's
dragged.
put it up anyway.
Of course, it's Guyon Lang coming down with it. Big high angle four shot looking for Simon Xiong, but David Jackson shuts that one down.
Jackson said not today, slaps that one out of bounds.
Oh, you love to see it. You do, in fact, love to see it. Great defense there on display. Once again, Monsell to pick up and initiate. Manang again with that flat force, letting a backhand go. Hart's looking for it. Oh, great boxing out by Lang, forcing Hart on the back foot, trying to grab it as it comes overhead.
Looked like a ghosty
Great
there.
read.
You with a quick pickup and an incredible grab getting the ground there to keep the disc in possession as Lang puts up a shot.
Looking for Jenny Lang. Or Jenny Ling, sorry.
Fumbles it, but a great defensive play.
Huge play as Hart manages to come out of nowhere to pick up that assignment and put that pressure on. Hammertron Fusion wanting this third medal so badly they can taste it. 5.5 minutes left in the game before we hit our soft cap. Anne-Marie McDonald, and a pick has been called. Anne-Marie McDonald overthrows Lawrence, giving the disc back to Tough Cookies with an opportunity to close it out, bringing it back within 4. Tong to pick up and initiate.
Very, very short field here. We see an ISO Manang getting open, but unfortunately the throw going a little bit high and read by Monsell, but it looks like there's a foul called on the throw.
Yeah, looks like there may have been contact on the back of the hand. And so we're going to head back. Looks like that foul is going to be accepted. Tong to pick up and initiate. Disc is in. Tong looks back, finds you, puts a laser shot up.
Into the end zone for the score.
Jenny Ling putting one more on the board as the score is now 13-9. 3 minutes, 45 seconds left before we hit our soft cap. We are so close to the end of the match, folks. It is hard to believe. Hammertron.
Oh, no, you go first. My apologies, Blair. You take it. You take this one. You take this one.
Nothing to apologize for, Sean. Hammertron Fusion going to come out on offense now for what they want to be the last point of the game, or the last 2 points of the game. They need a hold and a break if they want to close it out. Cookies making a slow comeback. They really are dominating the last quarter of the game. I think it's been a while since Hammertron have put one on the board. Cookies with a few back-to-back, and they've been breaks as well, which is fantastic to see. They're managing to generate those turns. And where they were generating those turns earlier but unable to capitalize on offense, they've tightened up their game. We're really seeing a lot of improvement from them in the final stages of the match. Tong with a great pull. Picked up by Monsell to Jackson early, who's going to set up some early give-goes with Monsell. Hall was an option. Threads through to Ellie. Unsupported as the cuts come a little bit too close. Goes back. Bobbles off the hands of Jackson. Menang secures it. Pushes deep. Trying to establish something for them to work down and put another one on the board. Bringing it back to within 3. It's you. She's going to do it. Yes, she is.
Here we go. Get in there.
For Mance.
For the score. It's in. Cookies get another one.
That is the way the cookie crumbles. I know I've said that like 4 or 5 times, folk, but it's just too good a pun to leave behind. Tough Cookies now within 3. Hammertron Fusion. If they let up the gas now, they will be giving up on the best performance they've had at a Division 2 in the divisional split history. They want this. They want to take home a bronze medal. They want to do it. For the folks at home, for the folks in Hammertron Prime who are going to be playing in the Division 1 Christchurch tournament next weekend. And they've called a timeout, so we will be back very shortly with the thrilling conclusion of this match in the Division 2 2023 Mixed Ultimate Championships. And we are back after that very brief timeout. Tough Cookies to come out on defense. Some little spirit communication happening here on the sideline next to the booth. A cheeky over here to give us a little bit of insight as to what has happened, as the game has certainly felt a little scrappy in the later stages. But we see Kieran Monsell putting the hand up for the offense. Dylan Lai with a great pull, fielded by Hart to Monsell. Jackson wide open on the near sideline. Menang closes in. Hart trying to push for the upline. That was an option, but he was a little slow to it. Monsell lets it rip for Jed Hart, who's well in hand. That's what they needed. Hammertron Fusion within 1 of a bronze medal. 4 points up over the Tough Cookies from Auckland, who have made a fantastic comeback. Just honestly unbelievable. Every break, every opportunity, it claws them back within 1, within 2, within 3. Whatever the margin, the Tough Cookies are leaving it all out here.
Big point for Fusion there to give them perhaps a little bit of momentum going into this last little stretch of the game. As we heard the hooter go off for soft cap, it will be a race to 15 regardless. What I'd like to see from Cookies here now is putting your best lines on as you possibly can, potentially some of the captains and coaches calling some lines, putting on their strong players for certain situations.
But how, Sean, how do you choose? Look at those lineups.
This is a stacked team, and they are very, very deep, good squad depth.
I am not surprised at all to see Brad Ivory on that Cookies line.
He's going to be putting in a big shift here.
Oh, no joke. Varley puts up the pull. Ivory marked by Johnson. He tried that nice half pivot backhand, forced to go back to find Johnson as Miller is applying a huge amount of pressure on the mark. Johnson gets one through to Louis, marked by Spratt, who overthrows. Mance not able to get it. Hammertron only a few successful completions away from a win, but Tough Cookies, some fantastic players on that side. They've been able to claw back a huge deficit already. Johnson putting it up for Atutahi, but overthrows. A questionable decision there.
I think there was a slight bit of hesitation there from the downfielder, potentially looking to cut back under, and again, what we saw earlier between Thornton and Ridgeway, just not quite on the same page there. We see Louis get the disc here.
High angle forehand looking for Mance a second time, but Varley secures it. Looks like a pick was called, so that turnover probably not going to stand. The question as to whether or not the pick affected the play or not. It doesn't look like either Mance or Varley were aware that a pick had been called. And so that throw probably would have continued, but so that looks like it. They're going to retract the pick call and the turnover is going to stand. That's some great spirit there by the Cookies. Well, we're all ultimate players here in the booth, and so we'd like to think that we've got a decent understanding of the rules and how they should be resolved. There's always an opportunity to learn. Johnson manages to find Ridgeway despite great pressure from Penfold on that.
A big sniff from Penfold on that disc.
Johnson's got it. He's signaling. He puts the backhand up. Looks like it just did not come back in bounds. Not sure if anyone got a touch. Tough Cookies not able to secure that, so Johnson's going to get another attempt. He's got an open Ridgeway. Threads through to Varley. He's got it. Pops it through to Ridgeway for the score in the middle. It's hard to believe, but that's gonna be the one.
Game, set, match. Good night.
Just fantastic flow there. Managing to get the disc back after that turn and just chipping it through. A hotly contested game, to say the absolute least. We saw some crazy calls, some huge plays, a lot of defensive pressure from both sides. Tough Cookies leaving everything out there. In the end, it was Hammertron who managed to pop one through.
Very commendable effort there from Cookies to claw back that deficit. And what a game we've seen. What a performance from both of these teams. And who other than Varley to close this game out?
Absolutely. Ridgeway with the walk-off score. Now, as much a fan of Hammertron as I am, I've got to be honest, I think Cookies played with a lot more heart. They were hustle, they were grind, they really put it out there. And just in the end, I think Hammertron came up with a few more of those 50-50s. They had a lot of sort of hucks and they were relying on some of their taller players. They had some scores that were really precise, really controlled and clean. And as much of a cliche as it is, I don't know if the scoreline necessarily reflected the energy and the intensity that went into that match. But Hammertron, you see a little couple of gleeful kicks from their circle before they do the final spirit huddle as they walk away with the first medal in Fusion history. Well done to both of those teams, but a special congratulations to Hammertron Fusion for taking third in the 2023 Division 2 New Zealand Mixed Ultimate Championships here from Awakarangi Park in beautiful Wellington. My name, as always, is Blair Munro.
I'm Becky Liddell.
And I'm Sean Gardner.
And what a pleasure it has been. We will be back with you for the final match of our tournament very soon.